Hi there, welcome to another exciting edition of The Bell Show. We're so excited that you decided to tune in today, and I know that you will not be disappointed that you did. The Bell Show is a show for the everyday lady and the man who loves her. So whether you're a guy or you're a lady, I'm sure you get something from today's episode. Today's episode promises to be a very exciting one. We have a very intriguing topic we're going to be discussing today. You know, this season we're talking about relationship. Bell relates from the inside out. You know, the Bible actually says that he that must have friends must show himself friendly. There is a part that every one of us needs to play in making sure we have a healthy and a fulfilling and satisfying relationship. And today we're going to be looking at the love relationship. You know, what can I do in my love relationship? What can I do as a wife, you know, or as a husband, or my fiancé to make this relationship a better one? And today I'm not alone on set. I have a special guest in the house with me, and I'm going to be introducing her to you when we come back from the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. Like I said earlier on, today we are focusing on the love relationship, the relationship between a husband and a wife, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, if you're old enough to have one, a relationship between fiancé and fiancée, that is if you have popped the question and you have said yes. Because, you know, this relationship is important. God is the author of the institution of marriage, and because he knows that marriage is something that we need, everybody, one of us, you know, it's something that will help us get to where we are going to, and so it's important. But so many times we have issues with this love relationship, and you know, we are thinking there's something wrong with that person, there's something wrong with this person. And actually, you know, when God created Eve, the first thing Eve saw was Adam. God looked at Adam and he said, it's not good for you to be alone. So God knows the importance of this kind of relationship in our lives. But you know, unfortunately, especially for women, this same relationship that's supposed to be a blessing to a lot of women has actually been the curse of pain, of heartaches, of disappointment. It has taken some women out. I know quite a lot of women that, you know, have lost their life because of marriage, because of a relationship they had with somebody somewhere. But you know, you need to know that it's not enough for you to just get stuck where you are. Whatever life happens, but you need to know that I can't, my destiny is great. I cannot let my past determine my future. And like I said, today I have a guest in the house with me, and you know, she's going to be sharing her story with us. And listen, your life is not going to be the same again. I sense that today the power of God is going to be touching you wherever you have been hurt, whatever has held you back to thus far. Today the power of God is going to be releasing you, because this woman, she has a powerful testimony, and God is using her to do great things, awesome things all across the globe. She is an emotions management specialist and also the CEO of Asala Marketing Media and Limited. She's a visionary of Shattered Glass Outreach International. She has been a blessing. She's had platforms all over the place to many people, and I want you to help me welcome today into the studio Mrs. Lara Kudayisi-Emeralds. So
Thank
wonderful
you.
to have you in the studio
so
with
glad
us
to be
today.
here today.
You know,
too.
we've been trying to get together for a while, you know, because I came across your story and I was like, wow, okay, this is interesting. There is something special here, because there is nobody that has gone through what you have gone through without the help of God. I will still be sitting here looking pretty, looking delectable, looking fantastic, you know, having a wonderful marriage, beautiful kids, if not for the grace of God. So there is something I'm sure that, you know, God helped you to do, that a lady out there is just feeling my end has come. You know, is feeling, because, and you know, sometimes what hurts us most is the fact that you are in a situation that it was not your fault. And you're like, okay, God, this happened to me, it wasn't my fault. I mean, why am I suffering for something that is not my fault? And because of that, you're even bitter against God. You can't even move on with your life. You can't, you know, God is trying to settle you back, but you can't do that. You know, I want you to tell us a bit about yourself, and then you tell us your story, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, my name is Lara Kudayisi-Emeralds. I'm an emotion management specialist. I deal with romance issues, family issues, and heartbreak issues. And my story started way back when I was 19 in school. I just entered the Polytechnic. I think I just finished the first year. And I was dating this brother, and we planned to get married. And, you know, brother from church, you know, we planned to get married. And one of those times we had sex, and I was a virgin, you know. So, and because it was so fast and it was so soon, I really can't remember now. But because I thought when you get this virgin, your hymen is supposed to break, and then you're supposed to see blood. I didn't see blood, so I still thought I was a virgin. Wow. So 5 months, 2 weeks after, I found out I was pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah. The first test I actually did a scan, and I saw the head of a baby.
Wow.
And I didn't know that I was pregnant.
Wow.
And
5 months?
Yeah, 5 months, 2 weeks. And I had broken the relationship with the brother.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was the crux of my life, and I was supposed to return back to school for the second year.
Tell me, how are you feeling at that point? Because, you know, sometimes some of these things happen when you're not a Christian. You say, okay, oh, before I gave my life to Christ, this happened to me. But when this actually happened, when you are in that confinement, and it happened with somebody that you trust, that you believed, okay, this is somebody that can help me get to my destiny in God. That kind of disappointment, that kind of, God, what happened? How did we get here? I mean, I only did this once. I mean, how exactly were you feeling? Because I'm sure there's somebody that is feeling that way, and they're wondering, how do I even, will God still accept me back? How do I move on from here?
Okay, actually it was disbelief, because I didn't feel pregnant for 5 months, 2 weeks, and I find out I'm pregnant, and they're showing me the head of a baby. You know, it was like, I was laughing. I'm like, it's not possible. How can you tell me I've been all right, you know, and all of that. I didn't even have a bulging tummy and stuff like that. Yeah, so, and I thought I had great plans for my life. I had goals, I had career I wanted to do. At first, I felt my life was going to finish. This is the end of my life. What am I going to do? This is the end. You know, in fact, I remember one woman telling me then, well, if God says you won't sell pure water, well, maybe, you know, so that kind of thought crossed my mind. And I thank God for Pastor Bimbo Dukoya. I used to come for a show back then, so she really made a great impact in my life, you know. So those were the words I've heard back then. That was what played out in my head, and I felt, wow, Lara, this is not your end. Wow. And I am going to go back to school. My parents were shocked. Wow. Nobody thought I would ever do it, because I thought I had the option of dropping out, and my father is so strict. I don't know what's going to happen to me again if I ever drop out. You know, maybe I'll go back to school. So I just made that decision, and then we had broke the relationship because I found out that this person does not fit into my vision. Wow. You get, so it was really like, you know, a battle of the mind for me. But thank God I went back to school. I was the PRO of my department. I was in choir in church. You know, I was the choir coordinator of my fellowship. I was everywhere. You know, so I had shame everywhere. But I made up my mind, because in fact, there was even no point of aborting. I had even passed that stage, you know. So I had to go back to school and face my fear. And, you know, it was school, students, you know, laughing at you, you know, and everybody thinks because you got pregnant, you're a prostitute. Meanwhile, the ones who are prostitutes don't even get pregnant. You know, it's the naive ones.
This is just not fair.
Yeah, you know, I actually felt, God, but me and you had an agreement, you know. Anyways, I went back to school, and I was able to stand tall. You know, I had my dad was mad.
What pushed you? What made you go back? Amidst the fact that you felt, okay, there's going to be a lot of, I mean, nobody likes shame. Yeah, nobody likes to be jeered at. Everybody will always want to do something to save their face. But you went back. What made you go back?
Yes, I think it's the resolve I had when I was young. I didn't know. I think most of us just have this thing when you're young, you know, where you grow up, you know, the goals you set for yourself. Maybe not necessarily the goals, but, you know, you just have this feeling, I'm going to be a superstar someday. I'm going to be very famous. I always had that dream. I didn't even know where it came from. You know, so I felt if I stopped going to school, this might be the end of my life. You know, so I sat down. It actually took me, after we came back from the hospital, me and my mom, I was in the room for like 7 hours. I didn't put on, I was just thinking. My mom was even scared that I hope this girl won't commit suicide. And I was there thinking about my life. So what do I run away? Do I die? Do I take poison? Do I go back? You know, and eventually when I came out around 6, 7 p.m., I said, Mommy, I want to eat amala. She said, she was so scared that this is strange. You know, we just found out something. I hope this is not going to be your last meal and all of that. And I just told her I'm going back to school.
Wow. I mean, that's intriguing. It's not your end. it doesn't matter where you are right now. Somebody sang a song that we fall down and we rise up. The righteous falls 7 times, but he needs to get back up again. We need to go on a quick break right now, and I'm sure you really don't want to go anywhere because she's just starting her story and there's lots more to come. I don't want you to go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi there, welcome to another exciting episode of The Bell Show. Welcome back. I'm sure you've already started to have a think about the story that we have been sharing with you. The truth is, life happens. And somebody once said, if life throws you lemon or limes, instead of just, you know, getting stuck and looking sad, just make lemonade out of it. Rise up from where you are, because that is not your end. Wherever you are is just a bend, is not your end. And you know, Lara is here still on set with me. She's been telling us how she decided on that day to eat amala. So Lara, you said you told your mom you wanted to eat amala.
Yeah, you know, and then I just told her I'm going back to school. She was like, do pregnant people go to school? I said yes, that well, even if pregnant people don't go to school, I will be the first one, because I have to finish this year, because I know my dad. Resolve. He was not with us at that time. He was in Abuja on transfer, so I knew that if I dropped out, that might be the end of my life, you know. So I just made that decision that I was going back to school, and yes, I went back to school, you know. And then I faced the shame. My father sent word that I mustn't come home, he mustn't see me, I'm no longer his daughter. Wow. So I was forced to stay in school all through, had my baby in school, you know, but it was just my mom, you know, mothers, very sentimental. She was always coming every Sunday, always crying, always bringing food, you know, none of that. And so I had my baby in school, did everything in school, you know. She was the one that was shuttling, coming and going and all of that, you know. So I finished my school that year with my daughter, but because of the stress, it was a lot of stress. I didn't have people staying with me. You know, I had my first and last carryover for that semester, you know. So yeah, I had to go back and redo it, you know. So after I finished my OND, I came home to do my IT, but then my dad was home, so we now had to sit down and have that, you know, father and daughter talk. Okay, so this has happened to you. I'm not the one responsible for your pregnancy, so I'm not going to take care of your daughter. You have to take your life in your hands and be responsible for this child. So instead of going back to school like my other people, I had to start working. At that time, you know, so at about age 20, I started buying diapers, you know, working and, you know, going, you know, training my daughter in school, you know, and all of that. So because of all these things, I had is, you know, a shattered self-esteem. You know, especially from my dad. He's sorry about it now, because by the time I understand better, and you know, he apologized for it. But you know, he thought, because I was really young and I finished school early, so and I was his firstborn, you know, so I was sort of his glory. You get.
And sometimes, you know, parents do some of these things because of love. And you know, they just feel, oh, I know this was what I was expecting, and maybe at that point in time they just don't know how else to behave. Like
you know, if we know better, we'll do better. You know, so my dad, you know, kept saying, so is this where you're going to end your life? You know, things like that. You know, so this is what's going to become of you. And after I had my baby, I had these gigantic breast abscess. You know, so I couldn't wear a bra for like 6 months. You know, I was really very sick, you know, so I looked terrible, and you know, the man just thought, wow, this girl is wasting away, you know. So I didn't know that had you know, it was just chipping off my self-esteem. So because of that, I was looking for love everywhere. You know, I wanted somebody to love me. Because of that, I wanted people to notice me. You know, I wore large hairdos. I used to wear very big afro, you know, hair. You know, I wear big earrings, mini skirts, you know, and all of that. So that's why these days when I see girls, you know, exposing their body, I know something is wrong inside. You know, we need to love them. It's beyond that dressing, you know, because then that was my problem. I wanted somebody to notice me, and then any guy that came around and say, "Hey, Lara, how you doing? I'm falling in love already."
Even before she say,
yeah,
I do.
Yes, I'm falling in love already. You know, so that's because I already had a self-esteem problem. I was looking for validation from men, you know, and I even felt sex was going to validate me, you know. So that was how I just got messed up a lot of times. I got heartbroken, PJ, more than 12 times, you know, and ordinarily I know people who have had like 2, 3 and then they're gone. But I just felt that there must be a better plan.
There's something.
There must be a better plan, you know, because, you know, I when I was dating, you know, I was different. That's what I tell people now when, you know, when they come for counseling and coaching. When you're a single parent, you're totally different from the average girl or the average guy. So your dating experiences should be different, you know. But I didn't know that. I tried to fit in like the normal girl, and there was a time I was even hiding my daughter, you know. I didn't want them to know, and of course that, you know, when the guys find out, they don't even, nobody ever said, "I'm not going to marry you." You know, guys now, Niger guys, they say, "Wow, really? You have a daughter? Fantastic, you are courageous." And then after the next day, you stop, they don't pick your calls anymore, you know. You know, so I learned to declare my assets. You know, when I was dating, because I tell you, this is my daughter from day one. If you like me, stay. If you like me, you can just take a walk, you know. So, you know, my self-esteem was battered. You know, I was looking for love in so many places. I met so many people. Then because I started working on time, you know, I was exposed to so many people. You know, I got a job in a bank, I had a car, I had, you know, my own apartment everywhere, you know. So I met a lot of people, you know. So that's one of the things I write now in my blog, where to find love. People go to the wrong places, you know, to look for love. I went to clubs, you know. At some point, I left church because I felt God doesn't love me. You know, why would you allow me go through all this chaos if you really loved me? So I left church, and man, I told God, I don't think you can help me with this marriage thing. Let me help myself. And so while trying to help myself, it was tears and tears and tears and tears, until one day I made up my mind. I told my, you know, my flatmate then, we came from the church. I think we need to go back there, you know, because I just found out that, you know, guys were just so mean and everything, and I didn't know that, you know, whenever there's a heartbreak or, you know, a relationship breakup, you know, don't just hate the person. Sit down and look inward. There must be something about you. You know, there's this thing I believe, you attract who you are,
and
not what you want.
That's actually what we are doing this season. We are looking inward. So we are saying Bear relates from the inside out, because the truth of the matter is, like you say, a lot of ladies are making an effort. They want to try to get themselves noticeable. They want this guy to notice them, so half of their cleavage is out, you know, their skirt is up there. They just try to make themselves, you know, noticeable by the person. But sometimes, like, you know, thank God for where God has brought you from and for where He's taking you to, because people would immediately judge them and say, "Oh, that girl, she's this." But you'll be able to notice that there is something wrong deep down inside. And, you know, I just remember the story of what Jesus did with the Samaritan woman. I'm sure people will have criticized her. Sister Juliana. Hey, don't even, can you imagine? Did they tell you? She's not even staying with another one. You know, but Jesus Christ knew that this is not a bad person. Because sometimes people do things and we criticize them, we judge them, we say, "Oh, that person is a bad person." But they are not that bad. There is something, because there's always a reaction to an action.
Exactly.
You know, people don't just stand up and say, "Okay, I want to be a prostitute." Something will have happened somewhere.
Exactly.
You know, something, and it takes somebody that can feel them to be able to save them, because, you know, He didn't just send us to the church. He wants us to go on the street and win them over. He actually said, when He prepared the supper, I said, go to the streets, go and bring them on the street. But, you know, in the church, we are so sanctimonious. We only want people that look the way we look. But we need to be able to feel this people, that there's something going on somewhere, you know, like you have been shattered, you know. I wouldn't even say heartbroken, because this is something that, you know, that was really deep, you know. So what happened? Okay, actually, I think we need to go on a quick break right now before we come back and finish this story, which I know that is already getting people's attention, and I know their life will not be the same again. So don't go anywhere. Let's go on a quick break right now. We'll be right back.
I am beautiful. I am
You're welcome back. Wow, what a touching story. I mean, so you were able to pick yourself back up, go back to school. I mean, a lot of people would have just decided, okay, this is my fate, destiny. Let me just forget about school. But you had a resolve, you had a determination. And even though you went back to the club, which, you know, yeah, I'm looking for love, I don't understand what is happening to me. But again, you were able to get yourself up and say, no, I need to go back to God. You know, I need to go back to the living what I need. This is not where I'm supposed to be. That is really intriguing. I mean, Lara, our time is fast spent. We actually need to get you back on set to finish this up because I know there is lots more. You know, there are some things I'm sure you want to share with them because there's a lady watching, there's somebody watching, might even be a guy. You know, you never know that. I've met guys that, you know, they are stuck because somebody left them.
Exactly.
They've been stuck for so much. You don't know how to just move on. And because that's not God's purpose for you to be stagnated in life, to be stuck. Because this kind of relationship, love relationship, you know, is supposed to be a blessing in your life. That says, therefore shall the man leave his father and mother and be cleaved to his own wife. Either findeth a wife, findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor from the Lord. So it's supposed to be a blessing. But you know, whatever the devil has done, there is hope for you. It is not the end. Lara, we have some questions. And since you are here, let's just deal with it together because you know you have a wealth of experience and you might be able to help us to answer some of those questions. So let's take the questions now.
Hello, my name is Solomon and I'm having communication issues with my fiancé. We've been together for 2 years and it seems that we are growing apart based on our communication issues. My question is, how do we settle issues when every time we have an argument, both of us are at loggerheads and none refuses to submit?
That's a very interesting one, and coming from a guy, I always love it when guys send us questions, you know, on the Bell Show because it means that you know they are getting something from out of this as well. You know, I've heard it said over and over again that communication is the blood of every relationship, and you know I can sense. I don't know you personally, Solomon, and if I was talking to you, I'll have asked you some other questions, but I can kind of sense somewhere that you know. Communication is breaking down probably because you are doing some things you're not supposed to be doing because you know, like you rightly mentioned earlier on, Pastor Bimbo Dukoya used to say that time for courtship is not time for sexual intercourse. It's time for you to talk and talk and talk and talk again. But the problem starts happening when you start having sexual intercourse, when you're supposed to be talking. So that means every time you come together, what you just think about is the sex, and so your communication begins to break down. But you know, that period that you are causing is the time you're supposed to just talk and talk, because the truth is, you can say, I know everything about somebody. Oh, I've been dating for so long, and then you get married the person, and you will not just believe yourself.
You'll be shocked.
What will happen? You understand?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have something to chip in.
Yeah, I'd like also to chip in that you need to know the love language of your spouse, because that is a very crucial aspect that a lot of people do not know. You know, you cannot say you love somebody if you don't love the person the way the person wants to be loved.
True.
You know, so that might also be something that you're doing wrong. Who is this person? How does she want to be loved? How does he want to be loved? How does you know submission, they say, is relative to you. It could be relative to me. So what is submission to you? What is submission to me?
That's right.
You know, so I think you should first of all try to discover her, and like she said, discovering does not mean, you know, under the sheets and all of that, you know, but discover her and then know her love language so that you will know what you're doing wrongly. Maybe you're not loving her the way she wants you to love her. You know, so
it's true, it's important, because you know we've said this before, that treat people the way you want to be treated. But you know, that is not true in its totality, because the way I want to be treated
might be different from the way I want to be treated. Yeah, it's
just safer to say treat people the way they want to be treated. So find out, and you know, I think I was saying sometime when I was introducing this season that a lot of times we have issues with our relationship because we don't know the other person.
Exactly.
So if we were talking about somebody earlier and I was saying, oh, I know he's a sanguine, so I cannot never be angry with him when he displays the traits of a sanguine.
Exactly.
But if I didn't know who he was, I would have been hurt. Oh, this, that.
True.
But you know, it helps to always, no matter the kind of relationship, to find out who the person is, you know, so that it will help you to relate with them in a better way. And like you said, discover what their love language is.
Yeah.
Hello ma, my name is Stella, and my complaint is that I've been in a series of relationships where it has always ended up in heartbreaks. Now I have a good man, but I find it hard to trust because of my past experiences. How do I move past these trust issues?
Wow. I'm just going to get Lara to
I
to
knew you were going to do
that.
Yeah, it's normal if you've been through heartbreaks before. You just think this person is going to break my heart, this person is going to break my heart. And hey, Stella, let me tell you, he's going to break your heart because that's what you're thinking. So the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And Job also said, the thing I fear the most have come upon me. So first of all, you need to deal with your fear. Fear. You think that, you know, you're never going to get it right, you're never going to get it happy. You know, when I was going through my issues, I knew so much bad that, you know, when my husband came, it was hard for me to recognize the good because he was so nice, so different from everybody, and I thought, hey, this guy is pretending. You get, so that might be what you're going through right now, and I would advise you that you need to seek help in case you can't deal with it on your own. You know, you need to seek help, where I run people through what I call the complete single curriculum, and where we deal with self-esteem. You need to reinvigorate your self-esteem because if your cable is bad, you're going to affect the socket you're being plugged into.
That's right.
So you're going to affect that man with this mindset that you possess. So I think that you seek help. I feel you should seek help, you know, and try to get beyond your fear. It's really, really very important.
That's important. Thank you for that. You know, part of the things we do here at the Bell Initiative is not just to minister to your spirit alone, or to tell you how to look good, how to dress up, we want to do that, but also to minister to your soul. Yeah. And you know, the soul, the Bible says, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So the prosperity of the soul is actually the foundation to every other prosperity. So if your soul is not whole, if you've been shattered, if you've been battered, and you just cannot get out of it, it's going to affect every other part of your relationship. So if you're in that situation, you need to seek counseling. You need somebody to talk to. There are qualified Christian counselors. There are people that you can talk to in confidence. You know, and I believe that as you begin to do that, your journey to recovery, there is so much ahead of you. God loves you. God has put a lot inside of you. And I want to tell you something. You know, the purpose of God is greater than your own vision. It's greater than your own goals, than what you want to achieve, because God has a purpose, and he says that my purpose will I bring to pass. So it doesn't matter what life has done with you. It doesn't matter how battered, how shattered you have been. If you just trust God, I know that his purpose for your life will come to pass. I want to tell you today that we love you, we appreciate you, you are beautiful, you are special, because God says so. I will leave you on this note today, and I want you to join us again next week, because Lara is coming back. We're going to be sharing again and taking you through how you can move from that place of being shattered to the place of being whole and enjoying your relationship. I love you, God loves you. Stay beautiful. Until next time that we come again. Shalom.
Of the spirit. You know, then because of my background, I was coming from a very spiritual background that you must manifest, you know, none of that. So I was looking for a guy who fasts, who prays, you know, who speaks in tongues, you know, and stuff like that. This in turn is very good because they are the gifts of the spirit, but that's not what qualifies you for heaven. Definitely. You know, you need to look for the fruit of the spirit, which is actually your character. That's right. You know, so but I didn't know all this back then, you know, so I was looking for the gift of the spirit.
Wonderful.